Hey there, amazing listeners. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Transform Yourself, the podcast that is all about empowering you to shed those stubborn pounds and embrace your best self. We are your hosts, Kacy and Tyler. You know me as the Calorie Deficit Queen. We have lost a collective 130 pounds. We use the 4 M's of fitness, mind shift, meal shift, micro habits, and muscle building to create attainable and sustainable approach to weight loss, especially for women over 40. So if you are a fitness enthusiast, maybe you are a beginner, maybe you are curious about making positive changes, Transform Yourself is your go-to source for inspiration, information, and a good dose of motivation. And if you've been feeling stuck, maybe you're spinning your wheels, or you're always saying, I just need a little more info. I need a little more time. This episode is for you, because this episode is all about future you and how future you is counting on the now you. Future you is the now you. So it's
kind of like Back to the Future, where future Marty is depending upon teenage Marty to get everything figured out.
Yes, exactly.
Is there a lot of Back to the Future references?
Boom. No, there's not, but I'll let you throw some in whenever you're ready.
Okay, if you make a good point, I'm just going to go, great Scott.
Perfect. Love it. So let's be honest, the future you is not going to magically wake up one day and just be more disciplined and more motivated and more organized. She's not going to suddenly just like love the 5 a.m. workouts and love eating grilled chicken. She is counting on future you. She's counting on now you to stop thinking and start doing. So grab your coffee, your walking shoes, or hit play while you're folding laundry or on your commute. We are going to dive into future you, counting on the now you. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this has to do with one of the truths to Form Fit. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say this is actually much more like Terminator.
Oh, it is?
Well, John Connor has to survive in the past so he can go on and fight the revolution against the robots in the future, which we're kind of there.
I mean,
Skynet's approaching.
This is true. I think I like the idea of being compared to the Terminator more so than what's his name? Not
Christopher Lloyd
or Marty McFly.
Well, I'm talking about John Connor versus Marty.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I'd rather be compared to John Connor.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd rather be the Terminator.
Okay. Well, to be clear, John Connor was not the Terminator. The Terminator was the Terminator. John Connor was the savior of mankind.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting it all wrong.
This is really
embarrassing, right? I know. It's so embarrassing.
This is... okay. Anyway, I don't know if we can keep going, but I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try to think of more austere references to time travel movies.
Right.
The Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, Hot Tub Time Machine. That's a good one.
Surprisingly good.
I figured you would bring in Inception at some point, right?
Well, Inception
is
within
you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like the now you is within, inside. I mean, it's
not like a time travel, but it's,
kind of is, though. Inception, do love that movie. It's one of my faves.
Or like Tenet, where time is running forwards and backwards. Oh, God,
that movie was confusing. Let's not talk about Tenet.
Okay, anyway, this isn't Rotten Tomatoes.
Right? All right, so let's get started. Information is not transformation. This is one of my truths of Form Fit that I usually start, like my January course that I do every year. That information is not transformation. So you do not need more information. You need execution. So listen, I know you've been
paralysis
on Google.
By analysis.
Yeah, I know you've been on Google. I know you've been down rabbit holes. I know that you are trying to figure out whether you're going to do intermittent fasting or which 4-day workout split is scientifically the most optimal. You've got like 6 different tabs open in your brain. Should I eat after 8 p.m.? You're Googling, is fasted cardio better for fat loss than non-fasted cardio? if I, do I use BCAAs if I'm lifting weights? Do I go high carb or do I go high fat? Listen, girl, none of that matters. None of that matters if you are not taking consistent action. Let's take an example. So say Susan spends 3 weeks reading about the benefits of strength training, but never actually picks up a dumbbell. Meanwhile, her friend Trish, she grabs the 10-pound weights. She doesn't really know much about strength training, but she grabs those 10-pound weights and she starts moving. Who is going to see progress first? Well, clearly it's going to be Trish. Even if her form sucks, even if it's not perfect, even if her program is not science-backed by 27 different studies on PubMed, Trish is picking up the weight and doing it. Susan's just reading about it.
Yeah. I feel like this is a ongoing heated battle in like the fitness space.
Yes.
It is you have like the gym bro community.
Yes.
And you've got the science community.
Yes.
And the science community is like, well, if you're trying to optimize this and you're going to do this. And the gym bros are like, just get to work, brother. Just start moving heavy stuff.
Just pick up the weight, dude.
Just pick up the weight and get going.
Yes.
And I think that is becoming a big issue in like this little microcosm of a community that like I'm not really even in, but like that I kind of consume some content for.
Yes.
And I see it all the time where people like argue about like, oh, this is superior to this. It's like, well, if you're just going to sit here and argue on a YouTube in like the comments on YouTube, you're not getting any real work done.
Exactly. Let me give you another little analogy that I love. It's kind of an older one, but I love this one. Let's take this scenario, and I know you've all been in this scenario. This is why I'm giving this one. You're sitting in a parking lot in your car. You're driving a car, and you are in an unknown part of town, or maybe you're in an unknown city, and you have to GPS to your next location, to your next destination where you're going. And the GPS tells you head east on Chestnut Street. And you're like, wait, where's Chestnut Street? Because you're sitting in the middle of a strip center. You have no idea where Chestnut Street is. You don't know if it's that street over there, that one over there. You have no idea. So what is the first thing you are going to do? Do you sit there paralyzed and you're like, well, I don't have all the information. I don't know where Chestnut Street is. So you're just going to sit there and do nothing? No. You take action. You
put in drive and start moving.
You start moving your car, even if it's imperfect action, even if you're not heading the right way, you're going to start heading a direction because guess what? You know, if you start heading a certain direction, your car is going to tell you whether you're doing it right or doing it wrong. You're going to get information. You're going to get feedback that tells you that. But you don't sit there paralyzed because you don't have all the information.
This is such a problem
start
with people.
Moving. And that right there, that is the thing that people do with fitness. They don't have all the information, and so they sit there paralyzed. Or people want to start a business, and you're like, well, yeah, but it's not, I don't have the perfect scenario right now. Okay, guess what? Try something. Throw it at a wall. Throw it at the wall is what I say. And if it sticks, great. Keep it. Keep doing that. And if it doesn't, well, then move on and try something else.
Yeah. And I know I'm a person who struggles with this, and like it sucks because like I know what the right answer is, but also know like action is, you just need to start going, and it's kind of funny because this morning I woke up a little earlier and I just went and sat in the TV room and was drinking coffee, and I ended up funny enough watching something on YouTube about the difference between they're looking at through the lens of a content creator and a content consumer. Okay. And they were pointing out that if you're like basically like, if you're always consuming, you're kind of like you're stressing yourself out. You're not really getting anything done.
Correct.
You're getting artificial dopamine. You're getting the dopamine from watching it. And they're saying versus if you are creating something, you're getting dopamine, but you're having to work for it.
Yes.
And they were making this comparison that it's much longer lasting and like all of the benefits and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, man, that is so interesting. So then like I watched like 17 more videos. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. No, but I've tried doing that today. And like I've tried I sat down in my office after I was done with my work and tried writing for like an hour after I was done with my regular work day, instead of like sitting there playing them. Oh, I know, because I wasn't going to sit and talk about it. I was going to go do it.
Okay.
So I don't know. That was just something interesting it's funny that this is coming up, because that actually has happened to me today.
I love it. I love that you took action towards
And it's hard.
Your goal is.
Yeah.
I love that for you. And that is just it. You have to start with one action. That is your practical tip here with this. Pick one thing. And you don't have to pick all the things. I mean, there's a whole other podcast we have about all or nothing thinking. Go listen to that one. You don't have to pick all you don't have to go to the gym 5 times a week and get in a steep calorie deficit and get in 10,000 steps a day. And you don't have to drink a gallon of water. You don't have to do all that. Pick one thing. And if that one thing is just, I'm going to go on a walk in the morning, it's going to be a 15-minute walk in the morning, and that's it. That's the only thing you're going to do. Okay, great. That is a great place to start, because that is action. Or maybe you're going to, throw that out the window. Maybe your one thing is, I'm going to start by logging my breakfast and lunch. That's it. Just logging breakfast and lunch, seeing how you're doing, getting, through half of your day. Action is going to build clarity, and you don't need a PhD in exercise and nutrition. You need action, and action is what builds momentum. And if you listen to David Goggins, or you listen to David Goggins, I believe he says motivation is bullshit. And you know what? He's right. It is. You're not going to wake up motivated. Nobody wakes up motivated. It is bullshit. What you need to do is take action, because action builds momentum. Momentum builds results, and results is what makes you feel,
even when it's hard,
motivated. That's right.
And he's the guy, because I'd imagine this audience that listens to this podcast might not be familiar with David Goggins.
I think they are.
They might, maybe
the girls in Costa Rica, we all had a conversation about David. We knew who David Goggins. Don't discount us.
Well, it's just because he speaks to a male audience primarily, so that's why I say that. I
would say that older ladies know who David Goggins is.
Well, anyway, so the whole point I was trying to make was, he does ultra marathons.
Yes.
In like 200 plus mile runs. And obviously there's so much training that goes into that and he talks very candidly about, before he goes on a run, sometimes he just sits and stares at his shoes for like 10 minutes. And it's like the little voice inside his head going, please, let's stay home, let's get in bed. And he has to like literally just beat that voice down.
Right.
And so that's a reality that we're always going to have to fight. It's always going to be something we have to deal with, but it gets easier because you build that like anything else. You build that muscle, and you get used to beating up the little bee voice in the back of your head that says, "I want chocolate. I want to
sleep another 30 minutes." Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what, ladies, Mel Robbins. There's another name for you. Y'all know who Mel Robbins is. She's the motivational speaker. She wrote the recent book, Let Them Theory, right? So Mel Robbins also is someone who says that motivation is bullshit, and she agrees, and I agree, and David Goggins agrees. You're not coming to knock on your door. It has to start with action. So transformation does not start with information. It starts with action. So stop trying to give yourself so much information and more information and more information, and start taking action. Also, another thing you need to stop giving yourself more of, besides information, is time. This one is a gut check, y'all. The space between your intention and your action is the space where your goals go to die. If your voice is saying, you know what, I'm going to start on Monday, or I'm going to get through this, let me just get through this weekend, and then I'll get serious. Or I'm just going to, after that vacation, then I'm going to go. Or once this project is done at work, I am going to have so much more time. No, Jenny, you're not going to have more time when that project is done. You're going to go on vacation again. This is not the last vacation you're going on for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So stop pushing off the results that you could already be seeing. Imagine if you just started 3 weeks ago, a month ago, even if it was imperfect action. Again, I'm not asking for perfect action here. I'm not asking you to do all the things. I'm saying to do one thing. Even if you took imperfect action on one thing, where would you be right now? You'd probably be a little further ahead than feeling stuck. That's for sure. And I see this all the time with cold plunges, and I am guilty. Here's my analogy for this part. If you've ever done a cold plunge, listen, I'm not a big fan of cold plunges, but I've done them. I'll do them again. But when you watch people do a cold plunge, they will stand there outside of the tub, staring at that tub of ice for like 5 to 10 minutes, psyching themselves up before they get in the water. They stand there like it's going to change the water temperature. They wait for 5 or 6 minutes trying to hype themselves up. And guess what? All they are doing is delaying getting out of that cold tub sooner. So it doesn't make it suck less. It's not going to suck.
It makes it suck more.
Right.
Because it's
now
like,
it's the anticipation.
Exactly. It's like the opposite. It's the cruel opposite of Christmas Eve.
You're making it last longer.
Yeah. Like Christmas Eve, how that makes Christmas better because like all this anticipation, but then like the anticipation of an awful experience.
Right.
Like everyone can imagine I have to go home and have this horrible conversation, or I have to go home and do this awful thing. And damn, that is worse than the actual thing.
Always. The anticipation of the awful thing is always worse than the thing itself. And the same with your goals, people. The more you wait, the more time you spend outside the progress instead of moving through it. Yeah, you're delaying it. You're delaying your progress. And I had a woman, you know what? It's not just her. I mean, I had somebody yesterday meet with me. Wonderful, wonderful lady named Carrie. She just joined my one-on-one program. And like so many other women, when she hopped on a Zoom with me, one of the first things she told me is, I have been following you for 2 years. 2 years, people. It took her 2 years to finally pull the trigger and schedule a Zoom with me so that we could discuss her goals, so that we could discuss one-on-one coaching and options for her, so that we could get her started towards her goal. I'm super excited. Like the excitement that I see at the end of these Zooms on these ladies' faces of I'm doing this. I'm starting. Like getting started is a big part of the battle.
Overcoming the inertia of
yes.
of getting it off high center or whatever acronym you want to use.
But imagine had Carrie messaged me a year ago where she could be now. And I think about those things. And it's not just Carrie. It's almost every single client that I have. Now, I get it. You probably aren't going to follow me for 1 week and join. I get that. You have to learn to trust the process and learn the form fit method a little bit and learn a little bit about who I am. I get that.
But you get to a point where when you have that little thought, you go, man, I should do that. Right. And it's crazy. I saw this really great story. Do you know who Scott Adams is?
I don't.
So Scott Adams is the guy who created the comic strip Dilbert.
Okay.
And he puts out just like a lot of just awesome, like great videos and great stuff like that. But anyway, he was talking about we often get so focused on the cost. We negotiate ourselves out of things based off of cost and not thinking about the payoff. So, and he was thinking through this, like at the lens of, starting a business or investing in yourself. It's like, oh, I don't want to do this because it's going to take all this time. Well, but then you have to spend all the time to get there. But then once
the opportunity cost,
the opportunity cost to get there, now it's paid off. Right. And I think that's the same thing with coaching or just getting started going to the gym. you're so focused on like, oh, well, this is too much. I can't do this right now. And you're not thinking about like, well, if you really got going today or you got going soon, man, where would you be in a year?
Absolutely.
Where would you be in 2 years or 5 years? Well, I think about that all the time. It's like, if I could roll back the clock and make changes in my life another 5 years sooner, how much different my life would be.
I think that too. And I will tell you that there are clients who have been with me for 6+ months, and I hear them all the time in our Zoom Day Tuesdays that we have. Man, I really wish I would have joined so much sooner. I wish I would have known this, but I wish I would have known this years ago. I wish I would have known I could have used this process and it would have worked for me. Like, it's amazing hearing them say that. And I say this too about myself, about the idea that, man, I wish I would have jumped into social media and started my business years ago. I wish I wouldn't have waited to start this business, because I realized what joy it brings me. Now, of course, this also came along the heels of my own transformation and Ty's transformation. But yeah, we all wish we would have done the thing sooner. And hesitation is the real enemy here. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You need less hesitation, because when you hesitate, you're giving your old habits time to talk you out of your goals, right? You're giving comfort a chance to creep in and win. Practical tip: write down one thing that you've been waiting to do and take a micro action toward it. So if you're thinking about joining a gym, maybe you should go schedule a tour with one. Or if you want to start meal prepping, but you're not sure, you're thinking it's going to be too much to meal prep. Well, guess what? You don't have to jump in and do the whole thing for the meal prepping on Sunday for an hour and a half. You don't have to do that.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
You can, exactly, imperfect action. You can start with just chopping 2 veggies, put them in baggies, boom. Done. Now you have fresh veggies in your kitchen ready, on Tuesday. No, wow, look at that. I've got something healthy to grab. Convenient.
Yeah. You can just start a podcast and then you do it sitting in a spare bedroom of your house with all the equipment sitting on a yellow tote.
From Home
Depot, like we are right now. We're like
you think
66.
We're sitting in a studio, we are sitting in our spare bedroom upstairs.
Sitting on the floor. My hips are killing me. And it's all of the equipment, all the mics and everything are sitting on top of like a 27 quart or 27 gallon, whatever these things are, like yellow and black tote from Home Depot.
Yeah, we finally got rid of the. Yeah, we had them on top of a princess table. The princess table had eventually went at a garage sale we had. So yeah, now we're using a Home Depot tote because we are refusing to buy an actual table for that. It's so silly. We need to get a table.
But the point is, we're not going to let the fact that we don't have a table
or all the perfect equipment stop us. That's right.
And that's the point I'm trying to make.
We'll probably get to 100 episodes before we even try to change this.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's almost almost certainly the case.
If you are trying to avoid working out, you're like, I just really don't want to work out. Listen. Start with 10 squats. You're like, yeah, but 10 squats, that's going to take 60 seconds of my time, and that's not worth anything. Yeah, it is. Sure it is.
If you haven't worked out in several years and you do
10 squats,
10 bodyweight squats, I bet you'll feel it in your hamstrings in the morning.
I bet you do. So yeah, and turn that 10 to 20 the next week. Boom. You've started something. So if you're thinking, if you're like, I might, somebody told me my friend told me I got to listen to this podcast and something about Form Fit and something about, listen, if you're thinking about joining my coaching program, it's $24.98 to join the group coaching. Stop thinking about it and just start messy, start scared, but get started. I believe yesterday, this kind of the hesitation thing creeped into my own life. I was sitting at the table. I sit at our kitchen table and work because it's easier, especially if I'm writing a cookbook. And I was just, working like I always do. And I thought to myself, oh, I'm not at my step goal for the day. I really need to go on a walk. but I also really need to edit all these videos. I'll just edit a few videos and then I'll go on a walk. Well, I was just procrastinating. I was just hesitating is what I was doing. I was putting it off, and I don't know why I was putting it off. I ended up editing one video, and I knew I needed to edit another 3 or 4 to get myself ahead of myself. But then I thought, no, put your phone down, put your computer away, get up and go on the walk right now. You can edit videos later. So I did, and that was that. And I just decided no more hesitation. Stop thinking about it, because if I think about it, I'm going to sit there long enough to let more excuses just creep in, and then I'm going to end up not doing it. So I got up, I did the thing. If you are waiting on a future you, here's the kicker. If you're doing nothing now and expecting the future version of you to do all the heavy lifting, she is not going to. She is not going to come save you. The only reason the future you, the goal you even exists is because of what you do today. The future you is the person that is hitting her protein because you, the now you, started meal prepping. The future you is confident in her swimsuit because the now you decided to pick up the weights. Or the future you feels strong, feels focused, feels happy, but that's because the now you got out and did the walk even when you were tired. So if you keep thinking that the future you is suddenly gonna all of a sudden crave gym sessions and veggies and all the protein, right? No. The future you is the now you, and you have to stack up hundreds of micro decisions over time to get to that person. And the only way she's going to ever exist is if you start acting like her today. One decision at a time. All right, friend, that is your dose of tough love today, and hopefully a few practical strategies in there. Less hesitation, more action. You don't need more information. You don't need more time. You need more action. Your future self, she is cheering you on from the other side of today's decision. If this episode gave you the fire you needed, share it with a friend. And don't forget to take one action today. If you take one, tag me on Instagram at the Calorie Deficit Queen. And if you are looking for weight loss resources, or you need to calculate your calorie deficit or your protein goal, or you're looking for low calorie cookbooks, or simple workouts, all of my cookbooks and workouts, by the way, are on sale this summer, 25% off. You don't have to apply a coupon code. It's just automatically 25% off. You can find those resources at thecaloriedeficitqueen.com. I also offer coaching at thecaloriedeficitqueen.com under the coaching tab. All the cookbooks are on the front page of the homepage of that website, thecaloriedeficitqueen.com. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Transform Yourself. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the love. Until next time, keep shining, keep smiling, and keep transforming yourself.
Hasta la vista, baby.